What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Birds vs. Boys YouTube channel. I am Kmess. If it's your first time here, welcome and thank you for stopping by. Make sure you head over to the homepage and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss a minute of BVB content. We are not just a podcast and a content machine for Eagles fans or Cowboys fans, but we are a podcast and a content machine for every NFL fan and just football fans in general. On our YouTube page, you're going to catch videos like I'm doing now. My co host Aiden doing videos for the Eagles. The two of us together doing shows, and you can listen to us wherever podcasts are found and listen to. That's where we are. Make sure you follow us everywhere on social media at Birds vs. Boys Pod. But the reason I'm here and the reason you are here is to talk and for you to listen about the Dallas Cowboys running back room. We know that they've moved on from Ezekiel Elliott, unless you are still in the camp that they are going to bring him back, but I will get back to that in a little bit. So we know the first thing, the only thing that we truly know about the running back room right now is that Tony Pollard is the bona fide RB1. He was franchise tagged. He's making $10 million this year. He's coming off a broken leg in the playoff game where we saw the offense just get completely depleted when he went out. So as long as he is healthy, which everybody believes he will be for the start of the year, Tony Pollard will be the featured back, the number one back on a team where the head coach, who is now the play caller, is saying that we want to run the damn ball. So this is going to be a run first, run heavy offense. So the biggest question is, Tony Pollard's not going to be able to handle 100% of the load, right? He's not going to carry the ball every time we're running the ball. He's not going to catch every pass out of the backfield. So who will be the RB2? And there's many options. The running back room is deep, even though maybe not every NFL fan in the country knows all the names. If you're a Cowboys fan and you follow closely, you know there's talent in the room, whether it be talented guys who have been here for a season or more, or guys that have joined the room for the first time. So let's go player by player here, and we'll work our way down to see who might be RB2. Is he on the team right now? Or is it possible that that player still isn't on the roster? So, first guy I'm going to touch on is Rico Dowdle. He's had 3 seasons in the NFL, going into his 4th season out of South Carolina. He's a 6 foot, 215 pound running back. He has all of the talent in the world in a running back that you would want to be your RB2. He runs hard. He's a big guy. He does have speed. He has burst. He is probably the closest thing to what Ezekiel Elliott was before he started going downhill that is on the roster currently. So he's a guy that immediately you would think he should and he will be the RB2, because they liked that 1-2 punch of Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott when Zeke was healthy. But that's the word right there, health, staying healthy, because that's been a problem for Rico Dowdle. We see him flash in camp. We see his pizzazz in the preseason, but then something happens. There's always an injury, a nagging injury that ends his season or doesn't let him get on the active roster during the regular season or the playoffs. So that's my biggest concern with Rico. If healthy, do I think he could handle the load as RB2? Absolutely. Would I like to see it? 100%. Not only because I think he would bring a good element to the team and to the offense, but also because he's been a guy that's been on this roster, right? He knows the offensive line and how they block and how to run behind them. He knows the quarterback. He knows the system, the head coach, and the team. And he's been a guy that's been working extremely hard for this organization for years. So that's a guy I would love to see win this spot and have his time to shine in 2023 for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, who else is in the room? Malik Davis, right? 5'11", 202 pounds, out of Florida, heading into his 2nd year in the league. He's 24 years old. I like Malik Davis a lot. I couldn't believe he went undrafted last year, and the Cowboys were able to snag him. I knew teams that were very high on him. I thought he was definitely going to get drafted in the mid rounds, and it just didn't happen. And he joined the team, and every time he touched the ball in preseason, you kind of went, "Wow, who's that guy?" Right? That's the dude from Florida. Teams during training camp were begging the Cowboys to cut him, right? It was then also between Rico Dowdle, Malik Davis. What are they going to do? They kept both. Then Malik got hurt. Excuse me. Then Rico got hurt. So teams were ready to pounce on Malik Davis, right? He didn't get a ton of carries in college, so he doesn't have that Ezekiel Elliott wear and tear like he did coming out of Ohio State. He runs hard. Like I said, the same thing with Rico Dowdle. He's younger than Rico, right? Actually, wow, they're not that much different in age. They're both 24 years old. Um, but he's a guy that is probably the most complete back on the team. And that's what they really like about him, right? He can catch the ball, he can run the ball, he can block. He does nothing spectacularly, but everything he does it solid. He's good at. And I think that's something that this coaching staff and this team really values. He's good at his job. He's good at every aspect of his job. He's just not spectacular at any portion of it. So he's a reliable guy who can, we saw in the regular season a little bit at the end that he can be that RB2 and add some juice to this offense. So those are two guys that have been on the team. Rico for a couple years, Malik just for one heading into his second season. So let's talk about two guys that are just joining the Cowboys, one via the draft and one via free agency. We'll start with the veteran, Ronald Jones, 5'11", 205 pounds. He's 25 years old, came out of USC. He was a second-round pick, number 38 overall in the 2018 draft. We've seen what he has done for Tampa, and then he was with the Chiefs as well. Didn't really do too much. 2023, 2 seasons, 17 carries for 70 yards and 1 touchdown. But there are people in the building that really like Ronald Jones. They signed him to a 1-year deal as a free agent this year, and people think he can contribute pretty well as an RB2 behind Tony Pollard. Am I super excited about Ronald Jones? No. Do I think he's a better running back at this point in his career than Ezekiel Elliott would be at RB2? Yes, I do. But do I think a healthy Rico Dowdle and overall back of Malik Davis would be better options at RB2? I do. Even though they spent some money, a ton, and they went after him in free agency, I do not think that means that he makes this 53. We know how they feel about their draft picks or even their undrafted free agents that they sign, like Rico and Malik. They like to invest in them and try and keep them on the team. And if they can outshine Ronald Jones, I think he is the longest shot of the 4 guys I'm talking about here currently in the room to stay on the roster. And that's because the 4th guy I'm talking about is a rookie, 6th-round pick, Deuce Vaughn, who will be on this roster. 5'6", 176 pounds, 21 years old, rookie out of Kansas State, 6th-round pick, 212 overall. We all saw the video of his father making the call. Welcome to Dallas. Do you want to come to work with me on Monday? It was the heartwarming story of the draft. Not only is it heartwarming and is it a good story, but this dude can play, right? If you watched Kansas State, if you watched him against TCU, if you watched him at all, he plays much bigger than 5'6", 176 pounds. He is fast. I know people think he can be that scat back type of player. You can put him in the slot. He's great at catching the ball out of the backfield, but he can also run between the tackles. I think in a year or two, he easily could be a starting running back or a bona fide RB2 on a team. I just don't know if it's going to be in year 1 for him We'll see what that adjustment to the NFL level, that size of player, that speed of player that on the defense, we'll see how he adjusts to that. I do think he is going to get his touches this season. I think the coaching staff want him to, the fans want him to, and I think he has the ability to. We saw it in minicamp and OTAs where he made some spectacular plays down the field in the passing game. I think he's going to get 5, 6, maybe 7 touches a game. Chances to really have those break open plays, kind of like, Tony Pollard has done in the past, but now Tony's going to be running the rock a lot more. So he's going to have the ability to have those kind of change of pace plays. Now, those are the guys that are on the roster. Before I get out of here, there's still options not on the roster, right? People are still in the camp of Ezekiel Elliott. He's still out there as a free agent. Could they bring him back? I hope not. I am a rip the Band-Aid off guy. I think Zeke is way past his prime. Thank you for everything he did, but it's time to move forward. Dalvin Cook has kind of been linked to the Cowboys. I don't see that happening. He's going to want to get paid, and I just don't see the Cowboys dipping into their pocket. They have $10 million about in salary cap space right now. I just don't see it happening. There's other guys like Leonard Fournette. Don't think he would be an option. Kareem Hunt, 27 years old, wouldn't hate it. Obviously don't love his background, wouldn't want that kind of guy added, but he still has a little juice left in the tank. I mean, other guys, J.D. McKissick, Mark Ingram, Rex Burkhead, Giovanni Bernard, no, I'm out, right? Give me Rico Dowdle. Give me a second-year Malik Davis. Even give me Ronald Jones on the roster and Deuce Vaughn. Keep 3 of those guys on the active roster, and I'll be happy. I don't think you need to dip into free agency anymore unless you have a slew of injuries in the offseason in camp, or if for some crazy reason Tony Pollard isn't ready to go week 1. Other than that, I ride with the guys on the roster. Like I said, I would love to see Rico Dowdle be RB2. I think he has the ability. But in the end, I think it's going to be Malik Davis. He has that all-around back tag on him, which the coaches really like. So I think it's going to end up being Malik Davis, but I wouldn't doubt it if it was Rico Dowdle. Who do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's one of these 4 guys that are on the roster? Do you want to see it be Deuce Vaughn right out of the gate? Or are you on the Ezekiel Elliott train? Or do you want them to go spend the money on Dalvin Cook? Put it down there in the comments section. Let me know what you're thinking. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Again, if it's your first time here, smash that subscribe button. If you are a loyal listener and follower, we truly do appreciate it. Follow us everywhere you are on social media at Birds vs. Boys Pod. And anywhere you listen to podcasts, we are there.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone. If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.